You're tuning into Media Soundwave. My name is Heather Cassidy, and today I am joined by Paul Gouge, who is the CEO of Playdemic, to tell us all about their game Golf Clash and some other interesting facts from the gaming world at the moment. Thank you for joining us, Paul.
Nice to meet you, Heather.
Brilliant, thank you for coming. So last year, sales from games were more than music and videos combined. The gaming industry is going from strength to strength. There's talks that esports will be in future Olympics. We've got universities like Staffordshire University who this September are including an esports degree. And I spoke to their tutors last year and they were fully subscribed over 12 months in advance. Gaming is going from strength to strength. It's also being incorporated into other aspects of media, which I'm going to ask you more about later. But tell me about Playdemic and the work that you do. Yeah,
sure. Well, Playdemic's a free-to-play mobile game developer and publisher. So we make games, obviously, for mobile phones. We're around 8 years old now as a company. We started in 2010, and about a year ago, we were acquired by Warner Brothers.
Brilliant. What's that? What does that involve? You're part of the Warner Brothers family now.
Yeah, we are. So we obviously spent 7 years of establishing ourselves as a successful mobile game publisher. We had a number of titles that did well for us, and that got us on the radar, I guess, of Warner. Like a lot of big integrated media companies, Warner have a strong interest in mobile. And as part of the expansion of mobile gaming for Warner, they were identifying targets, and fortunately, Playdemic were one of those targets.
Congratulations. You've also just had a recent award. What was your award that you've had?
Yeah, we have. We're very fortunate. We have a big hit game called Golf Clash that's done very well for us, and we just won the Tiger Game of the Year award. So that's across all platforms, and we've also just won the Mobile Game of the Year award as well. So very excited about that. We've also got a couple of big nominations coming up. So
the success of the gaming industry, how does it chart compared to the music industry?
So as you said in your intro, it's a huge industry, and in some respects that's a poorly kept secret, really, of the industry, that actually as a whole gaming is worth about $100 billion, in fact about 110 actually, probably in 2017. And of that, about 46% is mobile. So the mobile games industry is the biggest single slice now of the overall game industry. To your point earlier, music is about 16-17 billion a year, and box office movies about 40 billion. So you rightly said that the game industry is significantly bigger than both of those.
It's rapidly changing, isn't it? And I think also we have to note as well how it's changing for men and women. I think at one point it was seen that more men were playing games, and I think the fact that it's now gone to mobile has seen a shift. More women are playing on their phones. Also, women more like my age are playing on their mobile phones on games where it was more of a younger or a male thing to do.
Yeah, and I think that's a bit of chicken and egg. I think for a long time video games were made to be targeted at men, and that's not, women didn't want to play video games, they just weren't really being made for them. And I think, as you say, with casual gaming and mobile gaming, many more games have been made for women. So Candy Crush is a great example of that as a game played by almost everybody. And it's cuts across all gender boundaries. So I think you see now games being made for all sexes. We've certainly made games that are targeted at women and really engaged many millions of women a day in playing those games. So it's an industry and entertainment form that cuts across all boundaries.
If we take a look back to the Golf Clash game that we mentioned, how long did it take to make?
That game actually took us about a year and a half to make.
Oh, really? I thought it would be longer than that.
No, it's one of our shortest development times actually. So it didn't take as long as some other products. We go into a period called soft launch as well when we make those games. So it took about a year and a half to get to soft launch. Soft launch for us is we go out into territories that aren't our key markets and really optimize the game based on player behavior. Okay. So the thing about a game like Golf Clash is it's a game, what we call a game as a service. So it's not finished when we launch it, so we continually evolve it over time. So we collect a lot of data from our players and we evolve the game based on their experience.
So will that continue to evolve and update, or will you actually bring out a Golf Clash 2?
No, we're very committed to evolving that game. So the game is played by many millions of people a day, and games as a service really operate a bit more like a soap opera.
Every single day?
Every single day, many millions of people a day. So it's very much, if you imagine sort of some traditional console games kind of being like a box office movie, so they're kind of finished at the point of launch, whereas games as a service are much more like a soap opera. So Golf Clash continues to evolve over time, and we hope that in 5-10 years' time it'll still be there and still be something that people are loving playing every day.
That's brilliant for the user, because my little girl, she's a huge games fan. She'll sit all day, if you let her, which I don't, she'd sit all day and play it on her consoles or on her tablets. And the thing is, I bought her one. It wasn't one of your family group. It wasn't Warner Brothers one for Christmas. Well, she got many, but the one that I'm on about in particular, and she completed it in a day. And I was like, she's been looking for this game and asking for this game. And then as a user, and as a parent of a user, I'm like, how has she done that? Like, I know she's spent hours on it, and I've had to peel away. She's 8.
That generation, I have a 9-year-old son as well, and I actually have three children, but that age demographic is phenomenal. That they've grown up with touch devices, and they're so proficient. And I think that's one of the great things about gaming. compared to maybe, you know, our generation when we were growing up, it was very much sort of TV centric, and I think that was a great, you know, it's a wonderful medium, but it's quite a passive medium. And the great thing about children playing video games is it's interactive. It demands something of them. They have to interact with it. So I think whilst, you know, sometimes video games get bad press, there's something really positive about that interaction, and we see children, you know, becoming, you know, very proficient at interacting with those kind of devices through that.
I think that's something great about mobile gaming though, because mobile gaming is adding this extension and how it can carry on, and not a child left with a CD that's like, okay, I've done that now. What can I do?
Absolutely,
I've completed it.
and
I think it is the way forward, isn't it, with mobile gaming, because it can add to this. And then what can actual console games do to adapt and actually give a user more from it? I think more can be learnt from this.
Yeah, and that's a privilege for us, you know, as game makers. You know, we've sort of moved on from the period of just, you know, owning the creativity. The creativity for us now is also part of, you know, feedback loop with our customers and our players. So we're looking at that telemetry, looking at that data all the time, and players are telling us through how they experience our games what they want more of, what they want less of, and then we can evolve it in that way.
And work with the user experience.
Yeah, make better experiences. Ultimately, make more compelling entertainment by just really reading the feedback that we get from our players.
We did a show recently on the future of media, and we were looking at how media is developing as a whole and how gaming is becoming more interactive within the world of TV and online and things like that. How do you see gaming getting involved with other forms of media in the future?
Sure. Well, I'm obviously a big advocate for gaming, so I'll say it gets everywhere. But there's this horrible expression that people often use of gamification, and I think that's kind of, it's sort of a misnomer. I think gaming is, you know, as humans, we're ultimately playful, we're problem solvers, you know, and gaming plays into that. So gaming sort of touches on those ideas that we like rule sets, we like to be able to solve problems, we like to be able to entertain ourselves through those challenges, and gaming then therefore touches lots of things. And I think, you know, you can draw a hard line, you know, between video games and other things, but in reality, when you look carefully, there's lots of things that blend out. You know, quiz shows on television are obviously gaming. We have game shows as a genre on television. There are lots of things where gaming sort of interacts with other media forms already. And I think what we're learning from the interactivity of modern day devices is that you can change the way you interact with your viewer, the way you interact with your player, the way you interact with your listener.
Happens.
Exactly, you can have a moment of interaction. And gamification is a good way of really trying to create some interest around that moment of interaction. So it's not just press here if you like, it's actually getting involved in something that has a rule set to it, that has some entertainment to it, and actually drive some point to the interaction. So I think gaming in that sense is trailblazing a lot of those things for media, and certainly in terms of the overall viewership, you know, there are 2 billion people on mobile devices, so we have a huge audience to go at.
So many people.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and the app stores allow us to get to those people very easily. So, you know, you have a global audience. So if you can create a piece of entertainment like Golf Clash, you know, you can entertain millions of people every day through, you know, from a studio in Manchester.
So you guys are based up here, aren't you, in the north?
We are. Yeah, we're based in Wilmslow. Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised last year. I found out about how many tech companies are actually in the north of England, especially Manchester. There's a large part of the gaming in the UK is done up here.
There is, yeah, and I think, you know, Manchester sort of is this now tech hub, and I think, you know, we're seeing Manchester grow more and more in that sense. You know, I love the idea that Manchester is trying to excel in tech and creativity, and I guess games is the perfect expression of that, really.
It's a perfect like jumping point for that, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. And I think, you know, we have incredible universities here as well. So from a recruitment perspective, I think someone told me it's the biggest student population in Europe, you know, when you combine the universities. So I think a big challenge for us is keeping them in Manchester, you know, keeping these great graduates trying to, you know, come to work for businesses like ours and other tech and creative businesses.
A lot of your staff from local then, or do you have people coming from all over the UK to work for you?
They come from all over. So, you know, we definitely do have local people. We have people from across the UK and people internationally. So they come from all over, really.
So you just mentioned internationally, and before you were on about global users, in what country is Golf Clash played the most?
Golf Clash currently has its biggest audience in America. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we have a very big American audience, but we're very focused on expanding that. So we're about to do a big launch in Japan and Korea. We're excited about those markets, and we're really growing in Northern Europe as well.
There's so much going on over there with tech at the moment.
Oh, and they're huge mobile gamers. You know, in terms of the global market, China is the biggest market for mobile games, but Japan is number 2, with US is number 3.
Brilliant, thank you for them statistics.
No, I'm full of them.
I didn't know that, it's always good to know. So what has got the future in store for Playdemic?
Sure, well, we're obviously, you know, we're very committed to Golf Clash. You know, it's you know, one of the top grossing games in the world. So, you know, we're absolutely focused on growing that and making sure that continues to be this
keep
great
adding
business.
to it.
Yeah, but also we are working on new games. So, you know, we're working with the stable of IP that we've got access to at Warner Brothers, which is, you know, phenomenal and one of the big attractions to us to come be part of the Warner Brothers family. We're doing some work with Lego at the moment, so there are
I'm a
lots
big
of...
fan of the Lego games. They are featured heavily in my house. So
Oh, good. Well, they're all made up here, so they're all made in Wilmslow, Knutsford.
I told my little
So-
girl that, and she was even happy because she's been a big fan for a long time.
Sure.
But yeah, they are constantly on in my living room.
Yes, well, I think we're very proud of those games with Warner Brothers, and they've brought a lot of children to gaming, and I think they really are. They represent a really interesting part of gaming for children.
So will there be more Lego games then on our mobiles as well then?
Absolutely, yeah. There are definitely new Lego games
Fantastic.
coming to mobile.
I will have a very excited 8-year-old with that information.
Wonderful news.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Paul. Thank you to everybody for tuning in at home. If you head over to our website, www.mediasoundwave.co.uk, you can hit the subscribe button whilst you're there and don't miss any of our future shows. But if you head over to our Meet the Expert section, you'll find a photograph of Paul and some links to the work they're doing over at Playdemic. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks to all the crew here today for your help, and we'll see you all again soon here in Manchester on Media Soundwave.